use those engineering skills.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Okay, it looks like we're ready to go. I'd like to call the meeting of the Transportation Advisory Committee meeting to order. Would we like to go around and go ahead and introduce ourselves to the committee? Let's start with Joe.
Joe Stead, I'm city engineer.
Michelle Markgraf, community input.
Chris Dalton, city manager.
Pat LaCourse, transit manager.
Kim Marstone.
Scott Winchell from the Holding Commission.
Tom Henderson, community input.
Barb Dietz, Brown County Human Services Director.
Eric Warmka, New Ulm City Council.
And then we have two people on Zoom from our marketing committee. Can you introduce yourselves?
Did you want to start, Jill? Okay, well, I will introduce myself. I'm Berta Hartag, and I work with DRB Consulting, working with Jill Brown on this project.
And I know she said she was driving, so maybe she's in them.
Yes.
Oh, are you?
Sorry, this is Jill Brown. I'm about to pull into the parking spot, and I will be joining you on my laptop in just a minute.
Sounds good. Thank you. So let's make an approval of the minutes, previous minutes. Do I have a call for that?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the July 6th Transit Advisory Committee meeting.
Hearing one, we need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. The main purpose of the meeting is to talk about, we'll give Jill a little bit of time. She was supposed to be first, but if we want to review the entries, there was almost 100 of them. Some were brought in on the internet, through our website, through the county, and city websites. And then we also had boxes placed throughout the city, the most coming from Human Services. So as you can see, there's a myriad list of names that I was shocked at. We almost got 100 of them. It seems like Mr. Hermann kind of took the main brunt of what we wanted to call the bus or the route. And I think I said something about coming up with a list of 5. I'm not sure if everyone has done that. But if we could kind of go around the room and everybody give their list of 5, and then we can maybe narrow it down from there. I'm not sure we'll be able to make a decision today, to be honest with you, but I might be surprised. City Councilor Warmcar, would you like to start?
Yeah. I do like the Hermann theme. I too like the Hermann Express for sure. Same with Kraut Route. Those are fun. Actually, if you can give me just a couple minutes, I want to relook at this.
Sure. You were on vacation,
Yes.
so we had to understand.
Sorry.
The 5 that I had picked out, I also like the ones that connected to New Ulm route. So if somebody's coming here, they would be able to identify that it's a New Ulm route, because we already have Heartland Express, and that we know is countywide. It doesn't necessarily say that in the name. So I thought it might be clear for people. So I went with Hermann Express as one that I liked, New Ulm Kraut Route, New Ulm Stadtbus, New Ride, NU, the German U Ride, and the Hermann Hopper are the ones that I picked. There were many good ones in there, but those were the 5 I picked.
I'm with Jerry Sweeney on the Jolly Trolley. I just like the positive nature of it, the fun kind of thing. At the state fair the other day, and I ran it by the booths of transit people who all tend to be very young when you get stuck in a hot building all
Can
day.
you speak into the mic? Hold the mic close. Thanks.
The Jolly Trolley was your first choice.
First, probably only, but I'll go from there. New Ulm Transit, second, third, New Ulm Transit System. It gets kind of long. I like to see it short. River Valley Rides. I like to connect it more to the geography and then two rivers. Because I'm only half German, and that German is West German, which I'm told is the wrong kind of German. So all this German stuff for a newbie in town is a little overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, should I have moved here?
We're glad you.
Be a newbie.
Commissioner?
I just peeked at a quick, and two of them that I liked were Newber, Burr, Newber. And, but that could be dated, but I don't know, who knows. And the other one I liked was Ziggy Zack Zoomer.
I liked German.
The German theme.
Yep, the German theme.
City Manager Dalton?
So, I'm always going to go with Bussy McBusface, but I think on a more serious note, I think Hermann Express was kind of fits our town. The Hermann wagon, I think, really plays into that German heritage, and then New Ulm Transit would be up there too.
So when we talk about New Ulm Transit, is the NU, is that the one that you liked? Because I think
Yeah.
there was some of those that were just the NU, like new.
Yeah, so I would say either one.
Okay.
New Ulm spelled out or NU Transit.
Okay.
Either one.
I had Around the Town, City Connect. I did like Hermann Express, and I don't think people will think it's too German, but they'll just connect it to our guy on top of the hill. I did like Newber as well. I thought that was kind of clever. And River Valley Express.
All right, kind of went along with a lot of other top suggestions here. Hermann Express. I like Hermes Shuttle Bus. New Ulm's City Transit and New Ride or New Transit.
And I kind of broke mine out into the German theme and then the not German theme. So the ones that were not German were City Connect, Go City Bus, Go for a Ride, New Ulm City Transit, New Ulm Transit System, and Right Away Express. The German ones were the New Ulm Stadtbus. I too liked the Hermann Express. The Roman Gnome I thought was kind of a neat one as well. The Ulmer Express I enjoyed. Ulmer Wagen. And yeah, those are the ones I kind of wanted to stay away from, just as a side note, is anything with a river, because there's in St. Peter, it's River Valley Transit or Minnesota River Valley Transit. So anything might kind of get swayed that way. And there's also other River Valley ones in the state. So I think we want to kind of stay away from those. That was one thing that Kathleen had brought up to me. She said, be careful not to choose something too close to anyone else. So I think, if we chose something with the German name, no one else is going to have that. So, and I think it's going to be very unique to the city. The other thought I had is with the approval of the electric buses, was there anything in here that was maybe electric bus said, and I don't really see anything. I don't think that would be
Wait. Trolleys were electric for the most part.
trolleys were.
Minneapolis and St. Paul both had trolleys.
Mm-hmm.
They were run by wires above, not batteries.
Right,
But they
right.
were electric.
Yeah. So, I guess, I'm not sure if we maybe would want a little bit more time to think about this, or do you think a decision needs to be made today, or?
I'd be curious what Jill and Berta's response might be as professional marketers, what their thoughts are on some of the
What would be
names that we
easy
just
to-
brought up. Just be curious on their thoughts.
Thank you. I'd be happy to share a couple of thoughts. In meeting with Patrick last week, I offered my job today is to be the dissenting opinion, to point out anything that maybe you want to consider against something. And in that tone, I would offer a dissenting opinion on Nuber, because it's tied to Uber, which is its own business that you have no control over whatsoever. Should anything cause Uber to have bad press, bad publicity, that could spill over on you. Other than that, I'm looking for where is there some consensus, and I hear consensus on some of the German ones. And I appreciate the comment about the person who's half German's going, did I move here to the right place? So that needs to be weighed. I can see the connection to your Hermann character, that the Hermann Express came up many times, but there were a few others that were coming up in multiple top fives. Berta, did you have anything you wanted to add?
One thing I thought about, and I know it didn't come up a whole lot with the Jolly Trolley, but sometimes you think of trolleys as stopping more frequently in some places. So what's the public perception on a trolley versus a fixed route that has specific stops, but isn't a like stop anywhere kind of thing? But maybe that's my prejudice based on my experiences with trolleys.
Just giving a little feedback here. I now that I've familiarized myself with it, the new ride really does bring in a little bit of it's an EV bus. It's a new ride. It's a little progressive. I mean, that's kind of an easier marketed thing too, and it's a shorter, quicker thing to look up. But that'd be my input of one I liked. And I agree with Nuber. I mean, I love it, but yeah, you don't know if their politics goes one way or whatever, or anything changes, or copyright infringement, who knows?
And the new ride being NU
Yeah.
ride could have a little bit of the German thing in it if you chose to use the letter, spelling that way. Also, new being both new, brand new, could be used as well as New Ulm, NU. So there'd be a few different marketing
Avenues.
that you could use with that particular name.
Anybody have any opinion about New Ride? I guess that kind of makes sense.
There's a few of us. That,
Eric, that-
And I would kind of go with the same logic that Jill went with. We do have Red's Rides, the cab service, in town as well.
True.
Which has
Mm-hmm.
both negative and positive
Right.
reviews to it. Again, but with Eric's point, I mean, I think it does fit everything we want to do as well.
Another possible option, depending on the timing of all of this, is do we want to pick the top 3 or 4 that this committee liked and bring it out to the public again, to have New Ulm residents vote on it, as long as they were ones that we all were willing to accept or to be okay with? Do we put it in the hands of the, citizens or the community and say, these are the top choices, give you until such and such a date to vote on which one you want, and the high vote one gets it?
I think that's a neat idea.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. Get it down to 5.
And
And
there's
as-
some in New Ulm that feel they don't hear enough about what's happening, and this would definitely get it out in the
It's a
public so
publicity
people
method as
know.
well.
Keep it in front of their eyes.
That the paper and KNUJ were awful slow to pick up on the naming the bus contest. I mean, it took, I think Jill had to get a hold of them and say, hey, we'd kind of like you to push it to the forefront. But, so as I'm thinking here too with Hermann Express, I wonder if that's a little close to Heartland Express. Probably a little more closer than what we, if we want to distinguish ourselves between the two. I just thought of that sitting here, and then I'm thinking about what you're saying with the new ride. If Red's Rides, it's a little close to that as well, And I think we really want to be a little different than what
What are we looking at for a date as far as start time here?
Well,
If it's close, we need to get a name out there to get things.
yeah, again, we were hoping for the end of September. We had our applications closed today for the 2 part-time drivers. We do have the lead driver hired. She'll be starting next Tuesday. Where the applications are coming in awful slow. There's one fellow that has his license. The other one would have to be trained. So, I think we were really hoping for the end of September, but I think we might need to push that back just a little bit further, which is not what I really want, but I don't really have staff. When we started, I think we just want to start it. We don't want to have it half baked. I think we want to have a full, ready to go. So I think that if we wait another week or so, 2 weeks to get a name, I think we'd be okay yet.
In regards to your statement with Heartland Express and Hermann Express, there is a similarity to them, but again, they are also connected, so that
Right.
to me is not necessarily a negative. I think we talked about the marketing and the colors of the buses being different, so I think that'll be significant in terms of being able to differentiate. I mean, the names are different, and to me, Hermann would be more clearly New Ulm because of
Right.
the Hermann Monument, but,
Right.
so I think there's pros and cons to that. I wouldn't necessarily say, is it too close, that people are going to get confused, because we do plan to have them look very different.
Right, right,
And Heartland's been around pretty long time.
right.
To have
And it's not a
established its
bad thing,
place.
so,
Yeah,
yeah,
so,
so, okay. I'd be okay with, holding a contest if we could come up with the top 3. Does that sound good to the committee? Jill, do you think you'd be able to get that out to the publications, and you think they'd pick up on that, or?
Yes. Yep. I think it would be received well.
Okay.
could we just do it through one method, like people would vote through Facebook, or you're thinking, Jill, more methods for people to paper, come to these different sites again?
I would propose your solicitation of suggestions worked very well. Can we repeat it?
Okay.
So
Sure.
that was using websites and the in-person ballot boxes.
Sure.
Yep, we can surely do that again. I'm sure that I can visit with Carrie again and see if she can. We definitely don't want people to be re-voting on new names. We just want them to vote on the 3 names, correct? Or the,
Right.
I think.
We would not give them a other choice.
I think the group would all have to agree then, obviously, to go with whatever it is that they pick.
Yep.
So, Mr. Chair, I was trying to keep a tally the best I could. So the top was Hermann Express, second was New Ride, and then we have a 4-way tie for third. That included Hermann Hopper, the New Ulm Transit System, New Ulm Transit, and Kraut Route. So if you want to go top 3, we're going to have to narrow that log jam down to 1.
What was the third place, the first one?
First one was Hermann Hopper.
We have Hermann Express too.
That was number 1.
That was number 1, yeah.
I would take out Hermann Hopper, just as a big, close to Hermann
Too
Express.
close, yep.
And go with Hermann Express, because that was more, so, Hermann Express. And I think you said New Ulm Transit. I seem to have heard that one quite a bit. Was that one of them too that was on?
Yep, New Ulm Transit, yep. Well, we have 2 options there, New Ulm City Transit or New Ulm Transit System. Either one or the other
Right.
would be fine. If you combine those, then that would be the third place. So that'd be the top 3 with New Ride and Hermann Express.
Like to keep it short.
Yep.
2 words.
Well, New Ulm Transit System would be nuts.
Yeah.
Right.
Short.
And I have a dissenting opinion on that idea.
Wait.
Hey, Jill?
I say I would not advise that acronym.
It's a poor acronym.
I don't think Pat and his staff want to be considered nuts.
New Ulm City Transit it is, I guess.
So are those the top 3? Are we okay with that? Hermann
Absolutely.
Express, New Transit, and
New Ride?
New Ride.
New Ride. Okay. Fine by me. As you see, we'll move along then. Jill was able to pick some colors out for us, and went through our shirt vendor. And these are the two colors. We actually had a third color that we liked better, but all of a sudden then they couldn't get that color, so, I'm not sure if there's anything here that seems like would be a good fit. Oops, sorry about that. I guess we kind of thought Jill was, I'm not sure if you thought of this, Jill, but with our electric buses coming on board in a couple of years, green would probably be a great color for that. Is there any thoughts or with either of these colors? Again, these would be our themes, so this, we're not just picking a shirt color here, we're picking something to go with, you know, for our future colors. Instead of blue and white, it'd be green and white. Is that kind of the thought, Jill, the green and white?
I'll let Berta answer that. She has much more design talent than I do.
When I look at colors, once we have the name, whether you have green and white or green and a dark blue or different colors. So if it's, the green is either one of those greens, I think, can be on a bus and have our complementary colors with it when we get our name.
And thinking of our name, these colors you think would go well with like the Hermann Express? I mean, because Hermann would be a black and white type thing. I mean, because I think if we went with that one, we'd have some sort of Hermann type design on the bus, you know.
And you have a Hermann logo already too for what Hermann looks like.
Right.
Yeah.
What else?
Are you suggesting or use both colors, or are we choosing one?
Choosing one.
To the right.
This one?
The more lime.
You're right.
This one. Okay.
Yeah, Kelly
Barb?
green.
Well, maybe let's approach this backwards. Are there any reasons to not use one of those two greens?
I think the consensus in the room that these are two good colors.
Right.
Just now between the two.
And if it's the electricity thing, too, you know, to have green. Green.
You like the darker green? Commissioner? Barb?
Less trendy.
I
too.
don't honestly have a preference. I'm okay.
I like the brighter one.
The brighter one?
I'm always going to be partial to lime green.
Lime green?
I like the lime green better.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent.
You're indifferent. You're colorblind is what you're telling us.
No,
that was
I'm not.
I'm teasing.
They're both
I mean, but yeah.
green.
Colorblind.
The other green we had, ladies, that all of a sudden wasn't available. That was really
It was a winter green was what it was called.
Okay.
so.
But I think it was Patrick's idea to check with the apparel supplier, which really helped. Because we want to make sure the whole package goes together. So picking out the shirt has been very influential, as you've seen, because our first choice wasn't going to be an option.
The darker one would stand out more on a white bus, though.
I'm thinking with the electric part of it too, it's more natural, not
Green.
synthetic,
neon.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're both fine, but
Right, and I think the lighter color might get dirtier quicker, as well as it might be more of a trendier color. I mean, I don't know, in 5 years, is it still gonna be viable?
That's my word.
You know,
Yeah.
okay. I think then the consensus is the Kelly, is that the darker of the two, this one?
Good with that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Great. Good job.
We did a thing.
Jill and Berta, do you guys want to share some of your information with us? You have some-
Sure. First, I want to thank the city staff and the county staff for working on the name contest, people really hustled to get websites going, information online. Facebook posts were great. Getting the ballot boxes out, that was really a quick turnaround and worked fabulous. So thank you so much. I also want to thank the city engineering staff that's been helping with getting updated maps for the route. Things are coming together. So we are ready for a name. We have also worked with the city to get a list of the businesses along the route. And we have developed a short script, and we've picked a sampling of the businesses. We picked out 24, and we will now start some phone calls. And the reasons for doing this are make sure the business community is coming along. Someone mentioned, there are people in town who feel like they don't always have all the information. So this is partly, we're reaching out to the business community to keep them in the loop. And second, to offer marketing opportunities to some of the businesses. Would they like to offer coupons, merchandise? We'll leave that open, and we will use their contributions in the marketing of the new service. Perhaps some drawings, depending on what sort of things we're able to collect. Maybe everybody getting on the bus gets a coupon one day. But this is a chance for the business community to benefit and to get some exposure with your riders. And also, we will then thank any businesses that want to participate with us with some recommended Facebook posts acknowledging their participation. I'm excited to do this reach out. It's kind of a cold call at the moment to pick up the phone, call a business and say, hey, this bus service is in the works, and et cetera, et cetera. If they want to contribute something, then it will be Pat and his staff that follow up to pick up the coupons or pick up the items. And that's some FaceTime, also important for developing these relationships. Bert has been working with Walmart in particular to see what sort of cooperation we can have there. It's been slow going, getting to the right people, but Berta is very persistent. We will succeed there. Media relations is getting up and rolling. Businesses are getting up and rolling. All the infrastructure is coming into place with websites. Things are going great. Berta, anything you want to add?
That covers it.
Any questions for us or suggestions today?
The only thing I did tell Jill and her group is that in their script, I really didn't want to be asking for prizes because I think our businesses are all hit awful hard. If they choose to do that, to offer something, then that would be fine. But I didn't want it to be an ask. So they did take that line out of there. The other thing that I don't know if I heard you say, Jill, that you were going to even market to see if they had employees that would be willing to or wanting to ride the bus. So this way they could let their employers know if they were having trouble getting to work or a different way to get to work. Might solve some parking issues downtown. So I thought that was really a neat idea to do that. So.
And part of the reason for calling is to ask what would you like for information? Do you want a little poster to put up in your employee break room so employees can see that this route is of use to them? Are you willing to put anything by your checkout so your customers know this is a new way to find you? A little bit of a dialogue, and then we will put together a business kit.
And even some table toppers if it was a restaurant, correct? Is that what?
Correct. Right.
Just a quick question, looking at the map here, is there a scheduled ETA of completion for Boundary Street? It'd be a bummer to start a map in a direction when we don't have a road there.
Very good question.
So latest update from the county on that is the underground work should be completed within a couple of weeks. And then it's full, all hands on deck to get that road at least curb and guttered and paved for the winter. Obviously, there was material delays with precast concrete structures and pipe. So everything's schedule just got obliterated compared to what we started with, or what the county started with Mathwood's construction. So the hope is by snowfall, at least the roadway's done. The trail, sidewalks, I think that's that opportunity is long gone to get that completed this fall. But the hope is by snowfall. So yeah, there's going to be a portion where the route won't be able to be on that route once it starts. But
That's fair.
yeah.
That's the plan anyway.
That's what I've thought. I've heard. I just wanted to, we get this hype machine going, and it's like,
The
except for you
contractor-
guys on that side.
The contractor that won the bid actually ordered the pipe a month before he won the bid. And it was delayed
Still.
another month from when it was supposed to.
And then when the pipe was delivered, it failed MnDOT certification, so.
Gotcha.
Well, thanks for that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
thank you.
good point, Eric. I think that we'll probably have to make a turn and go back towards Cashwise and then come to our office that way and just not be able to serve those two stops until the road is completed. So, but again, that's going to happen throughout, I mean, we're always probably going to be dealing with something that's closed, once summer hits, so.
So the plan would be that all the flyers and so forth would show it with all of our stops we're planning on it. We would just have to advertise when there's something closed, that it's gonna be
Right.
different. Okay.
Yeah, and we would do that on our Facebook page and
Sure.
such. And if
And on
people are,
buses.
I'm signed up for the city Nixle and I'm getting updates as far as that goes, so
Yep.
people could do that too, so
Right.
that's really helpful. So we're really moving along here. So we're kind of stuck now on the Monday through Friday and Saturday hours. Is there have you guys thought any more about that, as far as a time frame? Do you want to start and end time?
It's time of day, are you talking about?
Time of day, right,
Okay.
yeah.
I was thinking we had talked about 7 to 6, is that what we talked
That-
about? The route, but the bus driver would start at 6:30
Right.
because they do their
7 to 6 seems like a pretty decent time to us, I mean,
It seems
but,
logical. Yeah.
okay. And again, something we can expand or,
Right.
change if we need to. I don't know if we came up with a Saturday timeframe. I think that was kind of the sticking point. Was it like a 9 to 2 type thing? Is that kind of? I think we talked.
I'd be fine with that. Something along there. Let people
That
get up in
seems
the
fair.
morning.
People
Are
are going to
most
do their
stores
shopping in the
open by 10?
mornings.
Yeah,
or by 9, I mean, are like downtown stores, do they open by 9?
On Saturdays,
I think it's
for the
9, yeah.
most part,
Okay.
the ones that people would be going to
Right.
at the latest.
Yeah, I would say, if you do a 9 to 2, you can get the
again,
lunch
those
crowd
times-
back home and stuff
And
like
those
that.
times can be adjusted if we, find that, people are really needing the 2 to 3 time frame. We can push it back from 10 till 3. Again, the start date is really fluid. Again, it was up to me, it would have been up and running. We booked a cruise, which we got back from, and I kind of thought by the time I booked that cruise that the route would be long running by then, and so whoever thought that we would still be waiting on things to happen. But, I think as long as we keep moving forward, I think that's the key, is that we just keep plugging away with it.
I think from our perspective, Tom, it would be reasonable or Pat, I think it'd be reasonable to think that by the end of next week, we might have a better idea of ability with drivers to
Right.
be able to, when we could start that route. And I don't know what we're thinking of as far as a time period to give for naming the bus, because there'd be some time, obviously, that Jill and Berta would need to do some marketing after we get the final name of the bus, so,
Right. Yeah. And just even getting the name on the bus too would be another
right.
thing, so.
Because how long is it gonna take then to get the,
Right.
yeah.
Right, yeah. It's not that we're dragging our feet. I want everyone to know that we're, we're trying to plug along, but, of course, the job market is tight. We kind of all know this, so.
Be really neat to have this for Oktoberfest.
Yes.
It would
I mean,
be-
that'd be a neat goal.
Would have been neat, yeah.
If we
I
could,
agree with
but
you.
no.
I wouldn't say that that's not a possibility yet. I think we might just have to do some juggling, and I think it's going to depend a little bit on our applicants that we have
Right,
right now. So hopefully by the end of next week.
yeah. And I'll
I
try,
agree. I think that'd be a great goal to
It
have
almost-
it going by Oktoberfest.
Yeah. A neat way to unveil it to the community.
Yeah.
that was the plan,
Yeah.
all along, is that we would be running by then, but, it'd be quite the deal to see people getting on the bus on on,
Mm-hmm.
on Oktoberfest. I wonder what.
And that's the first weekend and second weekend, right, of October?
First and second.
Yeah, the downtown one would be really neat.
Are we gonna do much of decorating of the bus that's temporary?
I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on it because I think it is just that temporary, you know. It's going to have the name, obviously, and anything that we were required to have. But as far as, you know, any German type theme, I don't see that, you know.
So
I
the
don't s-
temporary stuff can be done.
Pretty quick, yeah. Yeah. We've been in contact with SIDS and they're, you know, they have the things that we need to have on it. You know, now all they need is a name and he keeps bugging me. Do you have a name yet? So,
Maybe we just keep that window tight.
Right.
2-week
right.
max.
Exactly.
It is what it is.
Okay.
So from the marketing perspective, again, Jill or Berta, do you have some ideas on how quickly, since we have the locations already defined for where we do it, how quickly we might be able to get that contest information out, and if we could even look at a date for when we would end that, so we'd know when we would have a name?
Bert and I will put our heads together after
Okay.
this. We have a news release drafted, but we will now go back and change the draft from announcing the name to announcing the voting opportunity.
Okay.
We'll want a day to review that in-house. So let's say that's in the reporter's hands by Thursday, maybe end of the day tomorrow. And let's give people a good week to vote. I'm doing the schedule in my head, but I will
Yep.
do it on paper in an email to Pat, and we'll keep it moving. We're ready to
Yeah.
move.
And keeping in mind, we have Labor Day. And so that usually we don't think about, but people out of town
Right.
or
Yep.
busy. Mhm.
And I
You know,
think
that would be,
yeah.
if depending, we can talk about that. As I think out loud, Berta brings up a really good point. Might be best to wait until Tuesday.
Yep.
There, especially in Minnesota, there's a shift in everyone's mind that happens over Labor Day.
Because I think it would be helpful if we could get a name identified and a start date identified, so we could start doing advertising on both,
Right.
you know? And so if we were to have another week and a half, I think we could do better about defining that
Right.
as well, so.
And I think your draft, when you choose the second name, new, I think is the one with the 2 dots above the U, is that correct? In my,
Is that called an umlaut?
Umlaut. Yep.
it's an umlaut? Maybe that's a name. No. I think that's about all we had on our agenda for today. Give you a few minutes back in your day.
Do we want to set another date for
Date
in
for,
September?
yes, we can do that.
About 2 weeks from now, and that gives everyone, so you can give us an update on kind of where you are, and then maybe by then we'll be close
They could
to.
have the voting being done by then too, huh? By that Tuesday? Maybe do it Tuesday to Tuesday, one full week? Do you think that's enough, Jill and Berta? A full week?
Yeah.
of voting?
Yep. Let's
Because they're not
push.
having to come up with a new name, they're just having to vote on the name that we already have chosen.
Right.
Correct.
So what day are you thinking here?
Weeks from today is, I don't have it,
14th. September 14th would be 2 weeks from today.
on a Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay, same time, 9 to 10, or 10 to 11, does that seem to work for everybody's schedule?
Yeah.
The 14th, you said.
Yep. Okay, thanks Barb for that. I always forget about that.
It's just quicker to do it when everyone's here.
Yes,
So-
exactly, instead of doing a poll, or, that work for you, Jill and Berta, for you guys to be available?
Perfect.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. With that, we will adjourn the meeting. Do I have a first?
Yes.
Second.
We are done. Thank you.
Thank you.